Throwing the ball, Eric Nielsen. Nielsen is a 5'11", 175-pound halfback out of Oslo, Norway. He kicks the ball at field a little bit too far, goes over the touchline, and Eric Meyer will have a throw-in right in front of the San Francisco bench. We're here at Kezar Stadium. It's a very old stadium, about 60 years old, and it's, matter of fact, it's falling apart. We're up in the press box, the highest tier you could possibly have, but it is a very old stadium. That's where the 49ers used to play. Huskies control the ball. Carlos Carlos on the right side looking for Jimmy Ryan, but the ball is stolen by Vidal Larson. Larson coming back with it the other way, gets it over to teammate Eric Ingles. Ingles controlled it momentarily, and it's passed on the right side over to Stan Musalik. Musalik is a 5'10", 155-pound fullback out of Prague, Czechoslovakia. Musalik with the ball, fighting with it with him is Tim Maisley. Maisley comes away with it, and Maisley sending the ball upfield for Elvis Carmen, where it's stolen there by Musalik again, and Musalik kicks it out of bounds, and it'll be the Husky throw-in right from their side of the field. With we do not have a clock, so we're only beginning unofficial time throughout the game, as we'll see it on Jeff Hood's watch. And I'd like to remind you, you were listening to WHUS Stores, Connecticut, the sound alternative 91.7 FM on your dial. And Huskies controlling the ball, but only for a moment, because John Brubaker kicking it over the touchline, and it'll be a throw-in for Vidal Larson of the Dons. Larson gets the ball into teammate Ingles. Ingles up in the middle of the field, passes over for Theon Branson, and Branson controlling it on the right side. Branson back over to Ingles. Ingles trying to get around Eric Meyer, but Meyer makes a nice steal, and he'll bring the ball back the other way. Meyer races upfield with it with Elvis Comrie, but coming up to kick the ball out of bounds is Branson, and again the Huskies will have a throw-in. And we'd like to apologize for starting this game a little bit late, not being able to give you the proper introductions. And as we said, we'll try to go on as we have it throughout the game. Glenn Van Stratum controlling it for San Francisco, and he has it right around the midfield line, and he passes back for a teammate, and it's kicked back up into the Husky zone. We're running for this Fidelis Ategbu. Ategbu, who got the winning goal last year in the NCAA Championship final game versus the Indiana team, takes a shot on goal. It goes over everything. And it'll be a Husky goal kick. Matter of fact, Ategbu this year leading all scorers on the Dons team. He has 5 goals and 1 assist for 11 points. The other name we're going to have to look out for is Per Hagvalstad. Hagvalstad has 2 goals and 3 assists for 7 points. And Vidal Larson and Glenn Van Straten with 6 points each. 3 goals for Vidal Larson, 2 goals and 2 assists for Glenn Van Straten. So we're going to have a lot of foreign names, because this team is pretty much made out of a lot of foreign players. We have people from Norway, Paris, France, El Salvador, Prague, Czechoslovakia, a few people from Amsterdam, Holland, and we have 7 listed people from the United States on the roster. Billy Mooney controlling the ball up to Pedro DeVito. DeVito back to Mooney, makes a nice header out of it, gets it over to Graziano Cornolo, but Cornolo's run up the ball from Jan Elbersay. Elbersay is a junior fullback from Amsterdam, Holland, but he's going to be called for a hold on the play, and the Huskies are going to have a direct kick about 50 yards out of the San Francisco goal. And looking to start to take the ball in the play is going to be trying McSpirit. McSpirit sends the ball right upfield, looking for a header is Graziano Cornolo, but an offsides violation on UConn, as 3 Huskies went for the ball in the offsides trap play made by San Francisco, and San Francisco will have a kick. Jim Lyman got a bit of an early break on that ball, slipped in behind the San Francisco defense, but no defender in front of him, and so he was called for an offsides. And if you're not used to that voice, that's Jeffrey Hood. I finally got a load in now on the Connecticut Daily Campus, and he's been dying to talk throughout the whole broadcast, but the less Jeff says, the better. Right now, San Francisco controlling the ball. It's Eric Nielsen. Nielsen kicking it deep into the Husky territory, but it's headed away by John Brubaker. Brubaker gets the ball and controls it for the Huskies, but Lyman sends it upfield a little bit too far for Graziano Cornolo. Coming out of the goal to make the play is Andre Schweitzer. I believe it's. We did not get the starting goal keeper for the Huskies for the Dons today. We're going to have Cardzayer. Is it Cardzayer? Okay, it's going to be Aaron Cardzayer. Cardzayer is a 5'9" junior out of San Francisco, one of the 7 U.S. players that are on the team. And Cardzayer has very impressive statistics in his 3 games. He has a .33 average for goals against. He started 2 of those games and has only allowed 1 goal and has had 1 shutout. The Dons controlling the ball and really deep in their own territory. Alberse kicks it over to teammate Nielsen, and Nielsen will start it up for the Dons of San Francisco. Alberse controlling the ball, trying to get around Elvis Comrie. Does so, sends it upfield for Musalik. Musalik settles the ball down and now kicks it into the Husky zone for Fidelis Ategbu. Ategbu passes over to Theron Blanson. Blanson sends it upfield for another teammate. I believe it's Glenn Van Straten. Van Straten takes a shot into the penalty area, and Jim Renehan makes an easy save. Not really anything much to die for or anything. We went right to him, and Renehan outs the ball to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit will bring it back the other way. And if anyone has ever heard of is familiar with the name at.The, they might remember Andy at.The, who played for the San Francisco Dons back in 75-76, where he was the MVP of both NCAA tournaments and has set numerous records for the San Francisco Dons. And right now they kick the ball over the touchline. Huskies will have a throw. And there are no ball boys here either, as they were not in California, Berkeley. So once the ball goes out of play, we're going to have to wait for one of the players or the referee to go and retrieve it to send the ball back into play. And there's not a clock here either, so we do not know the official time. And we're just going to be guessing as we go along. And not what you would say the field and the facilities that would accompany a team that was ranked number 1 in the nation last year. Now Elvis Conley making a break in the penalty. They can't control the ball. Knocked away by Alberse. And Alberse knocks it back to Kezar. And the goalkeeper will start it up for San Francisco.
Ellis Conley slowed a little bit today with a cold. He had a sore throat this morning. Went to the, I believe it was the Cal Berkeley infirmary to get it checked out, get some medicine for that. So I don't know if he'll be 100% today.
at.The racing with the ball along with one Husky, and at.The wins the race, trying to get around. The player is trying to experience. at.The now play a little fancy footwork, sends it into the play, but McSpirit kicks it away. And the Huskies control the ball, so at.The with a lot of fancy footwork, trying to get around one of those Huskies, could not do so, and he was just playing with the ball in the corner, and Connecticut comes away. Graziano Cornell sends it back to John Brubacher. Brubacher loses it momentarily, and coming up with it is at.The shot on goal, and he scores! Jones wide to the left. It looked like it went in the net, but with the angle we have up here, wide to the left, so let me correct that. at.The got a shot off and went to the side of the net, and I called their first goal just a little bit too soon. And no goal for San Francisco, but at.The had a nice shot. And almost put it in the net. Now Charlie McSpirit will take the goal kick. Sends it upfield for Bill Maloney. Maloney gets a head on it. He sends it over to Carlos. And Carlos sends it up to Graziano Cornell. Cornell racing with Eric Visser. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Visser, and the Huskies want to throw in. And racing for the ball is Carlos to get it as it rolls out of bounds.
There's another player not quite 100%, Eric Visser. Slowed a little bit today with a muscle pull in his leg.
Carlos gets the throw in, puts it into Graziano Cornell. Cornell trying to get around one San Francisco player, can't do so. And coming up with it is Per Hagvalstad. Hagvalstad controls it for a moment. It's kicked out of the bounds by the Huskies. And San Francisco will have it the other way. The Huskies offense really not starting up at all here in this West Coast trip, as they only mustered up one goal versus Cal Berkeley, and that came on a penalty kick by Elvis Comrie. And other than that, they have not done anything at all. And they've been starting pretty late here. Also, we're trying to get the ball with their short passing game. This is Eric Nielsen. Nielsen controlling the ball on their side, their half of the field, sending the pass downfield for teammate Per Hagvalstad. Now Hagvalstad controls it off his head for a moment, but it's set down by Charlie McSpirit. And McSpirit sends it up to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman now fighting with the ball over with Glenn Van Stratum. Van Stratum steals the ball from McSpirit. McSpirit gets it right back, and he sends it over to Carlos. Carlos up to Bill Maloney. Maloney can't control it. And coming up with his Enrique Ingles. Ingles has it, and he sends it all the way back to teammate Eric Nielsen. And Nielsen will slow it up and look to see where he can out with the ball and start up the offense for San Francisco. This is Alberse controlling it on the left side. Huskies going back and sagging back to play defense. Alberse passes up to at.The trying to get around number 4, John Brubacher. He's still controlling the ball, and Brubacher with him step for step. at.The sending it back to Nielsen. Nielsen now slows up. He's around the midfield circle, and he's looking to boot it all the way downfield, and he does so, getting it on the right side over for a teammate. And I believe it's number 9, Theory Bronson. Bronson controlling the ball. Gets it back over to Ingles controls it, gets it past to Vidar Larson. Larson has the ball stolen by Elvis Comrie, but we're going to have a whistle on the play, I believe. And they're going to call it out of bounds. And it's rolling for the UConn Huskies. So San Francisco getting the better half of the play here, nearly going in the first half. They're having the better ball control, getting their passes deep into the Husky zone, but they have not had any real good shots except for a Tegbu shot about 2 minutes ago.
Huskies standing around a lot on offense, really not moving. Coach Maloney now yelling to his team, having them move around, and do see some action on part of the Huskies here.
Elvis Comrie gets a header up in the air, but Stan Mooslick pushing him from behind, and the Huskies will have a direct kick in the San Francisco Dons zone. And looking to take this kick would probably be Jimmy Lyman. The ball's being kicked around now, and finally Theory Bronson comes up and gets it over to Lyman. Lyman sends it into Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit starting up the play for Connecticut. And McSpirit slowing it down up left side over to Eric Myron. Myron into the corner for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito gets around Bronson. Now he's around the corner. Down goes out to the goal line. Tries to send the ball on the play, but it's knocked away by Alberse. And it goes out of bounds, and the Huskies will have a throw-in. So Pedro DeBrito making the break along the left side, but couldn't get centering pass in front. And he has a throw-in. Over to Carlos. Back to Pedro DeBrito. Makes a nice move around Ingles. Sends it into the middle for G. Lyman. Shot on goal. Nicked off the foot of Vidal Larson. And San Francisco will bring it back to the way. Brubacher steps in and steals the ball back. And we're going to have an offsides violation as Brubacher sent the pass in, and making a break was Pedro DeBrito, but he made the break just a little bit too soon, and it'll be an offsides violation and an indirect kick for the Duns.
Good defensive play on behalf of Stan Muselik. Saw DeBrito coming in for a Brubacher pass and took a few steps forward, got DeBrito caught behind for the offsides call.
Hauser, the goalkeeper, comes from San Francisco, California, being badgered by Graziano Coronado, but he sends it all the way up to the middle part of the field, and Carlos gets ahead on it. Goes right to the foot of Von Stratum. Stratum passing the right side over to Stan Muselik. Goes a little bit over for Muselik's foot speed and goes out of bounds right in front of the UConn bench. And Connecticut will have a throw. And this is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit sending that field for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito gets it off the side of his foot for Graziano Coronado, but Coronado can't get to it. He goes out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for San Francisco. Now, coming up to make the throw-in will be number 21, Muselik. And Cornetto looking to see if one of the players will make a mistake. Muselik throws the ball into Van Stratum. Van Stratum sends it pass to teammate Alberse, and Alberse gets it into the Husky zone for Tegbu. Tegbu controlling it, passing over to Vidal Larson. Larson on a pass to Eric Ingles, and Ingles making a nice move around DeBrito, sending it into the right side, but there's no one there to get it. And it goes over the goal line, and the Huskies will have a goal kick. And there's approximately, let's say, 35 minutes to go here in the first half.
About there somewhere.
There is no clock, so we're just going to go with an approximate time. No score here in the first half. The Connecticut Huskies playing the San Francisco Duns. And this is Charlie McSpirit sending the pass up midfield for Bill Maloney. Maloney gets ahead on it, sends it into the San Francisco zone, but Muselik kicks it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Aram Cardzayer. And Cardzayer now controlling it for the Duns. Halftime, we're going to have a couple of taped interviews, one with the goalkeeper, Jim Renehan, for the Connecticut Huskies, and the other one with the assistant coach, Eric Swallow, and stay tuned for that one. Now here's number 11, Elvis Comrie, making a move, trying to pass over Graziano Coronado, gets it behind him a little bit, and Muselik comes up with the ball, but it sends it right back to Comrie, and Comrie has the ball stolen by Eric Visser. Visser sending it upfield, and it goes out of bounds, and Huskies will have a throw-in right along the midfield line. But, poor play there by the San Francisco defense, almost allowing Elvis Comrie to get the ball right back on the right side of the penalty area.
Well, there aren't even any extra balls on the sideline. At least against Cal Berkeley, they had a couple spare balls, but this time each player has to go chase after the ball no matter how far it goes. Only about 100 fans here today. It's kind of hard to see looking over the overhang here in the press box, but not much of a crowd.
Well, the Huskies on the throw, and Charlie McSpirit getting into Elvis Comrie. Comrie trying to get around Eric Visser. He can't do so. Visser knocks the ball out of bounds last off the foot of Elvis Comrie, and it'll be a goal kick for San Francisco. So, play has been kind of stagnant around the field so far today. San Francisco getting the better of the plays. They've put together more nice passes and have attempted to take a few more shots than the Connecticut Huskies have, and they are controlling the ball right now. Muselik sending the ball deep downfield where Charlie McSpirit gets a foot on it, gets over to Jim Renehan where Tegbu is almost ready to pounce on the ball. But Jim Renehan alertly coming out of the goal, sending the ball to midfield for Elvis Comrie. Comrie with it on the left side over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito crossing midfield, guarded by Enrique Ingles, and he sends a pass to the right side to Comrie, and it's stolen, but it's not right back to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito, left side, over to Eric Myron. Myron back to DeBrito on the give and go, and it's stolen there again by Stan Muselik. Huskies cannot put together more than two passes at a time before San Francisco comes up with a steal. This is Ingles. Ingles back passing over to Muselik again, and Muselik getting it over to Eric Visser. And San Francisco will start it up again once deep from their own zone. Visser now slowing the ball up, looking to see if any San Francisco player can make a break. Tegbu is looking for the ball on the right side. Pass goes over to Stan Muselik. Muselik again back to Visser. And the Huskies are not putting on much pressure on the defense. They are sagging back, waiting for the play to come to them. Pass on the left side to Eric Visser. Visser losing control of the ball, goes out of bounds, and Huskies will have a throw-in. And this is Jimmy Lyman. Lyman passing the ball over to Billy Morty. Morty sending it upfield for John Brubacher. Brubacher has a semi-break, but coming up to make the play is Muselik, and Muselik steals the ball with relative ease from the Connecticut Husky. And here's a Tegbu sending the ball upfield. And coming up to steal the ball away is John Brubaker, but he sends it out of bounds. And a throw in right in front of the San Francisco bench for Muslik. Muslik, right side up to a Tegbu. Tegbu being badgered there by Brubaker. Pass comes back down to the San Francisco zone, all the way back for Eric Nielsen. And Nielsen will be playing the sweeper back position today. Has been starting up a lot of the offense for San Francisco so far, as the Huskies really have not put together much of an offense themselves, and they are now controlling the ball. And right now, what it is Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito coming into San Francisco area. Let's start over to Eric Myron. Myron controlling it right along the touchline. Back passing over to Billy Maroney. Maroney having some problems getting around per Hogfelstad, but he does so. Sending in for Graciano Cornell, but knocked away by Vidal Larson. Larson sending the pass up to English. English for San Francisco running downfield and sending the pass a little bit too Aaron for Hogfelstad. It goes out of bounds. There's a collision between Carlos and I believe Enrique Ingles. And both of those balls fell down pretty hard. I don't believe there was a whistle, but they just each got a little bit of a talking to by the referee, and the Huskies will have a throw-in.
Referee just cost UConn a...
And DeBrito is down on the ground right now. As San Francisco is making a move on the left side. Stratton takes a shot over everything, but DeBrito is down, and he is holding his side. I'm not sure if he was cut down in the play or knocked down, but DeBrito is right along the baseline, and Joe Maroney, the coach, is talking to the referee saying that there was a cheap shot, or talking to him about something, but DeBrito is down, and he is hurt. And and Coach Maroney is saying that when the referee turned, that DeBrito took a shot in the ribs, and he's yelling for the referee to be a little more alert. Coach Maroney is just fuming down there as DeBrito, one of the playmakers. Now Ellis Comrie having a few words with Stan Musalik, and coming over to the fence is Carlos Carlos. And Carlos is just pushing Comrie away, so no one gets thrown out of the game. But Comrie is a roommate of Pedro DeBrito, and I don't believe he liked what the San Francisco player did to his roommate. I believe Muslik is the player that might have cut down DeBrito, and Comrie is yelling at him.
Comrie had a few words with Steven Jesko, the San Francisco coach. He didn't grow too happy.
So the Huskies are going to take the ball and start and then play amazingly on the right side over to Jimmy Lyman. Let's see if it wakes up the Huskies at all. They have been sleeping so far on this Western trip. They won their first game, but the first half looked like it was really no show at all. The second half, they came to life, but they still couldn't get it past the goalkeeper. Fine goalkeeper for Cal Berkeley, who played a great game, Falk. A lot of saves and a lot of good saves against the Huskies. And right now, Connecticut offense has still been sleeping. And let's see how things go as we go along. Muslik controlling the ball now for San Francisco, sending it downfield where it's off the head of Tim Mason, controlled down by Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum sends a pass to Bronson. Bronson kicking it into the Husky zone right around the penalty area, but Charlie McSpirit gets a foot on it, gets it over to Elvis Comrie, and the Huskies controlling it. And looking to start up a play. Comrie sending it back to Jimmy Renehan. Renehan scoops it up. Pass on the left side to Brubaker, and the Huskies will come down on the other side. Brubaker, left side, upfield for Graciano Cornell, but a poor pass as Bronson was there to steal it. Bronson trying to get it in the middle, but Carlos Carlson, a sliding tackle, gets it back to Brubaker. Brubaker over for Jimmy Renehan, and Connecticut will start it up again, 100 yards from the down goal. This is Renehan, out running on the right side, over to Billy Maroney. Maroney, right around midfield area, gets it over to Jimmy Lyman, but Lyman gets the ball stolen from him by poor Hogfelstad. Hogfelstad a pass on the right side over to Muslik, and Muslik just saves it before it goes over the touchline. Muslik, man-to-man with Graciano Cornell, sending it into the penalty area for teammate Vidal Larson, but Larson's not looking, and it goes past both of them, and it goes into the zone, and Tegbu almost a header into the goal, but Tegbu missed a chance for the header. It was a beautiful pass set up by, I believe, number 11, Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum, the 5'11" midfielder who hails from Suriname, sent a beautiful centering pass right in front of the goal, and Tegbu was just 2 steps behind it, or San Francisco would have been on the board for the first time today. This is Tim Maisley. Maisley coming up the field. He has the ball stolen as Tegbu comes up with the ball, passing it towards the middle for teammate number 9, Thierry Bronson. Bronson controlling it. Shot on goal, and Jim Renehan with the easy save. But San Francisco getting the better part of the play here in the first half as they've taken more shots and put more pressure on Renehan than the Huskies have put on Aram Kardzayer. So we'll see if the Huskies can break out of this offensive slump they've been in after the 9 games versus Bridgeport. They only scored 1 goal versus Cal Berkeley, and they have not looked too impressive here so far this afternoon. Huskies looking to get the ball to Graciano Cornolo, but it goes behind Cornolo, out of bounds, and it's rolling right in front of the San Francisco bench. This time again by Stan Muslik. Muslik up to a Tegbu. He gets around number 4, John Bubacker, coming upfield against 2 Huskies, and he gets a pass over to Per Hagvaldstad. Hagvaldstad takes a shot, and it goes over the goal line. Last touch by the Huskies as they came out and made the defensive play, and it'll be the first corner kick of the game. This one by San Francisco on the left side with approximately, let's call it, 25 minutes to go here in the first half. Glenn Von Stratum is in the corner. He'll be taking the corner kick. Jimmy Lyman out on him. And Von Stratum sends it in the middle for a centering pass, and it's headed up by Bill Maloney. Looking for it is number 9, Terry Bronson. He gets kicked off Tim Maisley's foot as Bronson gets a shot off, and it's now cleared away nicely by John Blubacher all the way to midfield. And the Huskies get away with that being scored upon. Getting ready to check into the game for Husky lineup, Jim Dorsanio. Now, San Francisco sending it back into the Husky zone where it's headed away by number 10, Eric Myron. Myron sending it upfield where it's pulled back by the San Francisco Dons, and coming up with it is Vidal Larson. Larson passes back over to Stan Muslik. Muslik gets it over to Eric Nielsen, and Nielsen will control it.
Just had a handball on a San Francisco player. Ref did not call it.
San Francisco still controlling the ball. Jan Alberse passes it back to Eric Nielsen, and coming up to try to apply some pressure is Graciano Cornolo and Pedro DeBrito, but the pass goes out to Aaron Karzai, and Karzai with a powerful arm sends it all the way to midfield for his teammate Muslik. Muslik gets around DeBrito, and the fans like it, and he sends a pass up front for poor Hagvaldstad, but it's kicked away by the Husky defense and controlled by DeBrito, but DeBrito pushed from behind by Muslik, and again, the Huskies will have the ball, but DeBrito is being pushed and shoved by Muslik, and it's going to be a very physical contest unless the referees keep this down to a minimal. Also, going to start to check in the game, Kieran Coffey, the freshman out of Queens, New York. Coffey and Dorsanio standing along the sidelines. Huskies ball. This is DeBrito. DeBrito trying to get around 3 Dons, pass on the left side for Eric Meyer, but it goes a little bit too far over the touchline. And they're double teaming and triple teaming DeBrito. They feel DeBrito's the cog of the Husky offense, and he is the all-time leader in assists in New England, and he's the Husky leader in assists this year. And he just might be the cog that starts up the Husky offensive machine. And right now they are really keeping an eye on him, marking him very closely. And the man that's doing it is throwing the ball out and throwing right around midfield, Stan Muslik. And Muslik, who comes from Prague, Czechoslovakia, gets the throw-in. Throwing it in for Eric Ingles, but there's a push from behind on the Huskies, and it'll be a direct kick. And this time again, Muslik will take control. All the players lining up right on the penalty line of the penalty area. And Muslik probably going to be sending in a centering pass. DeBrito right on him. Muslik with the chip around in front, looking for the headers. One San Francisco player, but Charlie McSpirit heads it away nicely. And the Huskies bring it back the other way. This is Carlos coming around across midfield. It's a 2-on-5 break. Carlos leading the pack. Gets it over right up the middle and looking to run him off the ball. And doing so is Paul Hagvaldstad. And Carlos takes the spill. They're going to have a whistle. And Hagvaldstad was going to be called for the foul.
And did a good acting job there. He was hit from behind, but still made him look good. And Huskies will get the free kick.
And it'll be a free kick about 7 yards out of the penalty area. And probably the first real good chance the Huskies will have of putting the ball into the net. So they'll set up a play. And it's going to be DeBrito, McSpirit, and Jimmy Lyman back behind the ball. Graciano Cornolo is setting up along with the 2-4-6-man line. And Elvis Conley along the right side. Charlie Spears sends it to DeBrito. DeBrito shoots into the line. Jimmy Lyman keeps control of it. And San Francisco clears it away, but Tim Mason keeps it in the booth. And as Tim Mason kicks it over, the old offside trick is had by the San Francisco Dons, and 5 Huskies were offside. So San Francisco will come up with an indirect kick and take control of the ball. But the Huskies, with their first real good chance of putting the ball into the net, and they failed to do so. Eric Meyer now stealing the ball, but he's being called for a push. And San Francisco will have it the other way. They're around the mid-third of the field, and looking to take the kick will be Thierry Bronson. And Bronson, a 5'10", 160-pound midfielder. He's a freshman who hails from Paris, France.
I believe you said that, Harold. France.
It's Francais in me. And looking to take the kick is Muslik. Muslik sends it upfield for teammate Bronson, and Bronson is tripped from behind by Carlos. And so the direct kick again for San Francisco. The momentum starting to pick up now. Not really for either team, but the tempo of the game, we should say, is starting to pick up. Both teams now attacking a little more aggressively. And Muslik sends the ball centering pass, headed away by Billy Mooney, but settled down on the foot of a San Francisco player. Kicked away by Tim Mason. Pedro DeBrito really blasted out of the penalty area. A nice clearing play, and the Husky defense holds one more time. This is Eric Nielsen controlling the ball for San Francisco. Nielsen cross-field pass for Stan Muslik. Muslik gets it by DeBrito. Pass all the way to a Tegbu. Tegbu hits it off his head, but just sends it right out of bounds, and he's not too happy with that one. And John Brubacher will throw the ball out of bounds. And I believe Brubacher has been assigned the task of guarding Mr. Tegbu, Fidelis Tegbu, man-to-man, and marking him very closely, and he's doing a fairly good job. Right now, this is Graciano Cornolo trying to send a centering pass in front, but it's knocked away by San Francisco, and it's going to be a two-man collision between John Brubacher and Fidelis Tegbu. And I believe there's no call, matter of fact. Now they're whistling it dead, I believe. There's still a confusion on the field, and there will not be a whistle. The Huskies will keep control of the ball. So Tegbu really got smashed in by Brubacher, and no call right outside the penalty area.
John really had a good hit on him. Tegbu was trying to turn the corner on him, but he didn't get the call, and Tegbu really did his darndest, falling down, raising his arms. No whistle.
No, so Abese gets a pass into Muslik. Muslik sending it deep into the Husky territory for teammate Ingles, but it's kicked off the foot of Carlos Carlson. A nice defensive play. And the San Francisco will take the throw-in right about 25 yards out of the goal. And looking to take the throw-in will be Bronson. Bronson throwing the ball into the attacking third over for teammate Ingles. Ingles back pass over to Bronson on the give and go. Coming up to break up the play nicely is Eric Myron, but Myron sends it right back to the foot of Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum sends it all the way to midfield for Nielsen. Nielsen kicks it on the left side for Von Stratum again, the give and go, but coming up with it is Elvis Comrie. And Comrie sending it back, a nice pass back neatly over to Renehan. Renehan will outlet it all the way up to midfield for Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit gets ahead on it. McSpirit looking for Graciano Cornolo, finds his man, and Cornolo sends a cross-field pass over for Eric Myron. Myron now guarded man-to-man by San Francisco player, gets a pass on the left side over to Carlos. Carlos, nice fancy move around number 18, Enrique Ingles, and Carlos sends it deep down the field, but it's knocked away by San Francisco, and be controlled the other way by the Huskies. As the Huskies come over to steal. Carlos right in front to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito on the left side for Graciano Cornolo. We have foot race between Cornolo and Nielsen. Cornolo wins the race. Cornolo on the left side gets a pass. Nielsen over for Carlos. Pass goes behind Carlos, and coming up to make a sliding tackle is Eric Myron. He keeps the ball in the Husky zone, but another sliding tackle by Nielsen knocks the ball out of play, and Nielsen having some words with the referee as there will be a throw-in had by the Connecticut Huskies, and the action is now starting to pick up, and the Husky fans who are here this afternoon are starting to really become more vocal as we can hear them in the background. This will be Carlos taking the throw-in, trying to get into Pedro DeBrito, but DeBrito is pushed from behind him. Muslik comes up with the ball. Muslik now sending the ball down midfield for Tegbu, and Tegbu being badgered there by John Brubacher, and Tegbu knocks the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Brubacher, and Tegbu yelling at the referee, almost pleading with him to have a foul or a push called on Brubacher, but Brubacher getting to him, at least mentally, by using a little physical right around the midfield area, pushing and shoving him away, and Tegbu is now thinking twice about what to do on the offense. The Tegbu controlling the ball. Now Bicycle kicks it out of bounds one more time. And again, the Huskies will have a throw in. McSpirit throws the ball into Pedro DeBrito, but it goes right up the sideline out of bounds. And I don't believe that DeBrito even had a chance to touch the ball as McSpirit threw it right out of bounds. And it'll be a San Francisco throw in, this time in front of their own bench. Stan Muslik getting ready to throw the ball in. I'd like to remind you again, at halftime, it'll be Jim Renehan and Eric Swallow, our halftime guests on taped interviews. And you might want to stay tuned for that one. And while we do have this opportunity, we'd like to, we had a person come out of our last game, University of California at Berkeley, to say hi back home to a friend of his, a friend he used to go to high school with in Virginia, Rick McCauley, the treasurer of the undergraduate student government. And Ed Summers says hi as he's out here in California. I guess they used to go to school back a long time ago in high school. And he said, if you have a chance to, say hi to Rick over there, Rick should be listening. Well, hello, Rick. And right now, the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Connecticut Huskies, and it'll be a throw-in deep in the San Francisco area. And looking to take the throw-in will be, again, Muslik. As Muslik, who's established himself with the most powerful arm for San Francisco, gets the ball right at midfield for Enrique Ingles. Ingles passing it back to Bronson. Bronson sending it upfield for a Tegbu, but a Tegbu can't control it for very long, and he sends it all the way down to the left side to Eric Visser. Visser being controlled man-to-man by Elvis Comrie, and Visser sends it back to Nielsen. Nielsen now coming up the field and overlapping, passing back on the left side, and for a San Francisco player, but taken down by Elvis Comrie. We did not pick up the number as he is holding his ankle. And Elvis Comrie now trying to console the San Francisco player, but he is hurt on the ground. And if we can find that number, we'll tell you who it is. And Comrie, a little bit concerned. He's around the area. And also very concerned is a couple of the San Francisco teammates. Glenn Von Stratum is there.
I was just trying to make a good tackle that time. Kicked the ball away from the San Francisco player, but was hurt on the play. I don't think anything was intentional.
And there's approximately 15 to 20 minutes.
Closer to 20 minutes, I think.
Remaining in the first half. We're only going by a wristwatch as there's no time here. The rain is coming down. It's only a drizzle, and the San Francisco player is up. I believe it was Eric Visser. Right now, the ball is now right in front of the penalty area. Tagbo has control of it. Also, Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit kicks it away, but Husky defense almost slacking there for a little moment as San Francisco had the ball cleanly in the penalty area, and Tagbo just couldn't find the notch to get this shot off. Now Connecticut controlling the ball the other way. DeBrito pass over the left side over to Bill Maloney. Maloney gets over to Jimmy Lyman. Back to DeBrito. DeBrito takes a shot and goes wide to the right by about 10 feet.
Pedro rushed that shot. The Huskies haven't really gotten off a good shot yet today, but Pedro thought he may have a chance. Did not wait for Elvis going down the right wing. It's about a 25-yard shot, but far off to the right side of the net.
And the Huskies make their two substitutions, Jim Dorsanio and Kieran Coffey, in for Graziano Cornello and Eric Myron in San Francisco with the goal kick. Taking it was Eric Nielsen, and Nielsen just kicked it back to his teammate, goalkeeper Aram Kardzayer. And we haven't heard Kardzayer much because the Connecticut offense really hasn't taken many shots to test Kardzayer at all. Kardzayer average of goals against a .33, but a lot of that could be contributed to the defense, as San Francisco has really been containing the Huskies very well. Huskies with the ball deep in their own zone. Tim Maisley having problems getting rid of it, and Ingles comes up and makes the steal. Ingles with sending a centering pass on the right side for Branson, but headed away nicely by Coffey, and Coffey sends it up the field for Bill Maloney. Maloney with the break, slowing the ball down now, waiting for a few Husky teammates. Passing it over Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito now going back a little bit, now running around, passing through the legs of Per Hagvestad, right side over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman pass up for Elvis Comrie is stolen by Eric Visser, as Comrie was nowhere near where the pass was, and Visser sends it back to Nielsen, and Nielsen will start it up for San Francisco. Nielsen sends it into the Husky zone, but he sends it up a little bit too far out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for Charlie McSpirit and the Connecticut Huskies.
Side of the field, there's a long jump pit with a runway and everything. Huskies trying to avoid that bit. Hard dirt there.
And Elvis Comrie coming into the penalty area for Carlos. Carlos, but coming out to make the save was Aaron Kardzayer. It was a lobber in front. Carlos was looking for the header, but Kardzayer had the right of way and made the play. And he now boots it up towards midfield, and he's looking for teammate Thierry Bronson. Bronson had the ball momentarily, tried to get it past to Tegbu, but John Brubaker kicks it out of bounds, and Tegbu will have the throw-in. Tegbu throws it in very quickly to teammate Paul Hagvestad. Hagvestad now battling with it with Tim Mason, and coming away with it will be John Brubaker. A whistle on the play. We're going to have a push right outside the penalty area by Tim Mason, and this is a big break for the Dons, as they're about 15 yards away from the goal, and it'll be a direct kick, so the Huskies are going to have to set up some sort of wall. And looking to take the kick will be Musovic.
Mason playing very good defense that time, but actually checked up Hagvestad.
Hagvestad has 7 points on the year, 2 goals and 3 assists. And you have to watch out for him. He can score. Now taking the direct kick will be Stan Musovic. Musovic chips one up in front, looking for a tag move, but he kicks it over everything. Poor play by Musovic, and the Huskies will have a goal kick as they have a tag move up there along with Nielsen and Pearl Hagvestad. Not to mention the other tough scorer, Vidal Larson. Larson with 3 goals on the year. So we're going to score this game now. Tim Mason taking a breather, and coming into the game is Eddie Lynch. Lynch started the past 4 or 5 games for the injured Bill Maloney. Maloney starting his first game since, I believe, the St. Louis match, which was the first game of the season. Bill Maloney controlling the ball. Pass back over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit sends it up to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman trying to get around one San Francisco player, and he gets a pass downfield from Maloney. Maloney right around the penalty area. Gets it over to Jim Dorsanio. Dorsanio entering the attack. He threw it over to Elvis Comrie. He's wide open, but coming out to make the play was Kaiser. As Comrie was almost tripped from behind, he could not really get control of the ball as he was badgered from behind by a San Francisco player. He's looking for a call, but you're not going to see a foul call within that penalty area, especially with these two tough teams. The number 1 ranked team in the country, the Connecticut Huskies, and number 12 ranked team, San Francisco. This is Paul Hagvestad. Hagvestad being pushed, I believe, on the play by Eddie Lynch.
On that play in the penalty box, Harold, Cards went out to get the ball. Elvis made a nice play getting around a San Francisco defender, but he was, I don't know if it was jet up. He was held up from behind and fell down, tried to kick the ball in when he was lying down, but just couldn't get any angle or leverage on the ball.
Now the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in by San Francisco. Right at the midfield circle, and looking to take it will be Eric Visser. Visser is a halfback out of Amsterdam, Holland. And I'd like to remind you, if you're listening, and if you know a little about San Francisco soccer, you're listening for the names of Roar Anderson, Bjorn Tronstad, or Joe Bergsvon, you will not hear them here. The Scandinavian connection is back home in Norway for one reason or another. And San Francisco playing with, well, they lost 6 starters, 3 expected, 3 unexpected from last year's squad that won the national championship. And right now they're in a scoreless game with the Connecticut Huskies. Controlling the ball is Bill Maloney, but Maloney is right around the penalty area of San Francisco, and he's just going to clear the ball downfield for Connecticut as another San Francisco chance to almost score came about. Now Elvis Conley racing with the ball right down the other end of the field with Eric Nielsen, and Comrie and Nielsen fighting in the corner. Last touch by Nielsen in Connecticut. They're going to make that last touch by San Francisco, and it'll be a goal kick, as Connecticut has not had a corner kick all afternoon. And San Francisco, I believe, has only had one. So Cardzo will start to play for the Dons of San Francisco. This is Eric Visser coming up with the ball. Visser sending a pass in the midfield. Over for teammate Theodore Bronson. Bronson back passing over to Mooslik. Mooslik sending a pass all the way deep downfield for Tegbu. And Tegbu racing with a foot for a foot with Huskies number 4, John Brubaker. The ball goes out of bounds. Last touched by Andy Tegbu. Or not Andy Tegbu, Fidelis Tegbu. I'm thinking of his brother Andy, who played in 75-76. But it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Tegbu, and the Huskies will have control of the ball. And they have a couple substitutions. Re-entering the game is Eric Myron and Tim Maisley. And taking a breather is Jimmy Lyman and John Brubaker.
San Francisco has an offense much like Connecticut's. They go with a short pass. But one thing that is different is that they look for a Tegbu an awful lot up the sidelines. Try to get the long lead pass to him because he can do so much with the ball. And he has proven that today.
Connecticut will throw it right in front of the Husky bench, and taking his Kieran Coffey. It goes off the foot of DeBrito out of bounds. And Mooslik will throw the ball in for the San Francisco team. Mooslik looking for a Tegbu, and coming up with the header is Eddie Lynch, but he was pushed from behind by a Tegbu. And the Huskies will have a direct kick right in front of their own bench. Harold Eric along with Jeff Hood of the Connecticut Daily Campus here at Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, California. It's a scoreless game. We do not have an official clock. We don't even have an unofficial clock. We're just guessing that there's approximately 10 to 15 minutes left here in the first half. And it is raining out. It is cloudy, overcast, and it's pretty cold, just as it has been all day. And the Huskies wearing their long-sleeve shirts, as well as San Francisco, and both teams, of course, clad in shorts. And surprisingly so, Jim Renehan has shorts on also. The goalkeeper was wearing the long pants versus Cal Berkeley, and that was a steaming hot day, especially on the field with the AstroTurf. But today he chose to go in shorts. Now throwing by San Francisco on the far side of the field, and it goes right to the foot of Eric Myron. Myron over for Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit passes it over to Billy Maloney. Maloney sends it upfield for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito settles it down. Passing on the left side to Coffey. The Huskies are making a break. Coffey on the left side gets around to Tegbu. Passing in the corner. Elvis Comrie, but off sides, I believe, will be called on Comrie. They're breaking a little bit too early, and the Huskies do not like it. I believe that's their 3rd or 4th offsides violation here in the first half, as San Francisco has just been trapping the Huskies left and right, as the Huskies have been just a little bit too over-anxious.
We don't have a good angle from up here, Harold, but the referee making that call was practically at midfield, and Elvis was about 30 yards ahead of him, so I don't see how he could make the call either.
Right now, Connecticut takes the ball off the head of Eric Myron. He goes out of bounds, and it's going to be a San Francisco throw-in. Play now going for both sides. San Francisco dominated early in the game, had a few nice shots on goal, but the Huskies really have not had any shots to get close to the goal.
Against San Francisco, their illegal throw-in, I believe he raised his foot up.
And you don't really see that too often. Connecticut controlling the ball. This is Tim Maisley setting up a pass for Dorsano that is stolen by San Francisco. And coming back the other way is Vidar Larson. Vidar Larson passing the left side over to Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum sends it into the penalty area. Kieran Coffey kicks it off Eddie Lynch's foot, but Lynch keeps control of it. And he sends it up for Elvis Comrie. The Huskies are going to take this and break it the other way. Billy Maloney now on the left side. Maloney trying to get around El Berse. He does so, gets it to Comrie, but Comrie has the ball kicked away from behind and now controlled by Theory Bronson. Bronson sending it upfield, but not very far as it shanks off the side of his foot. And a throw for the Huskies right around the midfield area. This is Kieran Coffey. Coffey in for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito over for Comrie. Comrie's pushing behind by El Berse. No call. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Dons, and Connecticut again will take another throw-in.
Huskies playing a little bit more inspired ball here. First 15, 20 minutes seem to be a little bit slow getting started, but now they're starting to hustle a bit more and actually having a longer possession of the ball, I believe.
Andy Ategbu controlling it for San Francisco. He's in the midfield circle, and he's running around with it. He's controlling it. Nice dribbling tactics, but really not going anywhere. He sends it all the way back to Aaron Karzayer, and that's one thing we've noticed about Fidelis Ategbu. And I keep calling him Andy, and I'm going to have to keep correcting myself on that. But the thing we notice about Fidelis Ategbu, he likes to control the ball. He likes to hold it for a long period of time, but sometimes he just doesn't dribble anywhere with it. And right now, this is Eric Nielsen for San Francisco entering the Husky zone, gets it over to Bronson. Bronson sending a centering pass, but no one's there to pick it up, and Jim Renehan comes out to make the play. Renehan outlets it with his arm on the left side for Carlos, and Carlos controls it, and he's trying to get around Ingles. Ingles kicks the ball away from him, sends it back to in the corner for Ategbu, and Ategbu is man-to-man with Coffee. Ategbu is sending past the Bronson, shot wide to the right. And so San Francisco with the best opportunity of the afternoon, and it goes wide to the right. From Ategbu to Bronson, as it was set up on a fellow Husky pass, as making the steal as Ategbu, or make that, not Ategbu, but Ingles. Ingles made the steal, kick it down to Ategbu. Ategbu looking for Bronson. He just missed a shot wide to the right, and we have a lot more action here in the first half than we did earlier in the contest. This is John Brubaker for the Connecticut Huskies. He's deep in his own zone, passing up for Coffee, but he passes behind him, and John Brubaker kicking himself in the backside for that one as he just shanked it off the side of his foot. And coming up with the throw-in will be again Musalik, and Musalik sends it back over for Nielsen. Nielsen now kicking all the way back to the goalkeeper, Karzayer. I don't believe Karzayer has had an assist all game. Or not an assist, a save. It's been one of those days. Pass on the left side for San Francisco teammate Nielsen. Nielsen sends it into Glenn Von Stratum, and Von Stratum back over to Jan Alberse. Alberse kicking it downfield for Eric Ingles, but coming up to make the play is Tim Maisley. Maisley gets it into Jay Renehan, and Renehan will out it on the left side. Renehan all the way upfield for Billy Maroney. Maroney misses the header as he goes over his head, and Muslik comes up and he's controlling it for San Francisco. Muslik pass up front for Ategbu, knocked off the foot of John Brubaker. He goes out of bounds, and Ategbu will have the throw in. Ategbu gets it over to teammate Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum loses it, and coming up is the Huskies, and it's John Brubaker making a nice sliding tackle on Vidal Larson. Goes out of bounds right next to the Husky bench, and another throw in for San Francisco. This one by Muslik. Muslik passing the left side for Nielsen. Nielsen retreating from the midfield line. Now it's starting to attack, and he's trying to get around Jim D'Orsonio. D'Orsonio really applying the pressure, and the pass goes over to Alberse. Alberse, right side over to Muslik. Muslik being guarded by Pedro Rubito, sends a cross-field pass for Nielsen, and Nielsen almost having the ball stolen by Charlie McSpirit, but quietly and quickly sends it up front for Thierry Bronson. Bronson over to Ategbu. Ategbu again being badgered by John Brubaker. He's doing a fine job at Ategbu. And coming over the ball is Vidal Larson, and Larson is pushed from behind, and he'll have a direct kick. And now DeBrito is yelling to the referee to about some sort of play. Slowing the game down and telling Muslik to send the ball into play. Muslik sends a centering pass in front. It goes past everybody, and coming up with it will be Elvis Comrie of the Connecticut Huskies. Comrie's going to have some problems getting out of his own zone, though, and he sends it upfield where it's stolen by San Francisco. Settled down in the head of Kieran Coffey. Coffey sends it up for Charlie McSpirit, right to Glenn Von Stratum. Shot and goal goes over everything. So Von Stratum with a left-footed shot from about 25 yards out goes over the crossbar.
Checking in for UConn now, Graziano Cornello for Jim D'Orsonio. And Carlos in for Bill Maroney, who's played the whole first half up to this point.
And right now we have approximately 5 or 10 minutes remaining in the first half. There is no clock. So we're just guessing, as we have been saying throughout most of the game. And it's very frustrating to not know exactly how much time is left. But the Huskies making those last substitutions, giving a few of their players a break right before halftime. And this is Tim Maisley coming up on the right sideline, pass up for Pedro DeBrito, but coming up to make a sliding tackle was Eric Visser. Visser sends it out of play, and the Huskies have to retrieve the ball to make the throw-in. And the crowd is pretty silent right now. It's kind of cold, still raining.
There's not even much of a crowd.
There's not much of a crowd. We had heard a little more of the crowd. Now, a whistle on the play as Huskies throwing goes out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in the other way for San Francisco.
A couple freshmen for UConn playing surprisingly well for such a big game. Eric Myron and Kieran Coffey playing very well. considering that they are freshmen, and it is a game as important as this.
And right now, both teams keep throwing the ball out of bounds. This time, the Huskies will have the throw-in. And Elvis Comrie talking over with the referee. No, I think they're going to have a drop kick as the referee is motioning to. My halftime guest this evening is senior goalkeeper Jim Renehan, who's been having himself a fine season so far for the Connecticut Huskies, who now have a record of 8 wins and no losses. Jim, last game versus University of California at Berkeley, you had a shutout, and you really saved the game with some very good saves in the last couple of minutes. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, Cal Berkeley was a tough team. It was a real intense game. They really came at us strong, and it was a good game for us to get by and win.
Now, the first half, the Huskies started off very slowly, both definitely on the offense. You played some very good defense towards the beginning, but the offense was a little bit slow on the attack. Was anything due to jet lag or all the traveling that you had the last couple of days?
It might have been partly due to that. We had a lot of travel. We stopped in Atlanta for 4 hours, and then we got out here last night. And partly because the AstroTurf is different than our own field, and it was hot, about 85 degrees. I think all those factors combined to help maybe hinder us, I guess, in the beginning of the game.
And California Berkeley, who had a record of 5-1, they were supposed to be a pretty good team. They really didn't play anybody tough, and this was like their first contest of the year playing your team. And they came along with some really tough shots, especially towards the end of the game. With I guess Babini came along and tested you a few times. You had to make some really diving saves.
Well, they were tough. They were always pressurizing and really hustled hard, especially the front two guys. And they gave us a battle. I know our backs know they went through a tough game after today.
Okay, now today's game you're playing the University of San Francisco Dons, and the #1 team in the nation 1 year ago. Of course, you're the #1 team in the nation now, and there has to be some pressure, when you're on the field all the time. But this game has to be probably one of the most pressurized games of your career.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this too for another reason, because when I was a sophomore 2 years ago, we played them at home and we lost 4-3, and it wasn't one of my better games. I let in 4 goals, and I'd really like to play better and show them that I'm a better goalkeeper and we're a better team and we can beat them this year and we deserve the #1 ranking.
Okay, this year you're playing fine. You've won every single one of your games, and you've even had 3 shutouts, I believe, to make that 2 shutouts to your credit, and both of those propelled you over the all-time career record for shutouts for a goalkeeper. And we'd like to congratulate you on that, and you have some tough competition up there with that record.
Yeah, thank you. That was I was tied going into the year, and I was looking forward to breaking it and the records and all. But, as far as I'm concerned, the team being #1 is still the best thing that has happened so far this year.
Okay, after University of San Francisco today, you got Stanford, and then you go back home. But Stanford, you can't overlook them either. They always have a pretty tough team.
No, we played them last year, and they weren't as good as we thought they were going to be. But I'm sure this year they'll be a lot tougher on their home field, and plus we'll probably be a little more tired after playing 2 games in 5 days.
This is your senior year, of course, your last of a very spectacular career as goalkeeper for University of Connecticut. And wondering, what is your goals for the rest of the season?
Well, of course, just to continue being #1 in the nation. It's been great so far. And if anything happens, if I got a chance to play pro, I would go for it and see what happens. But otherwise, I'm just looking forward to the end of the year and hopefully making the playoffs.
So you're thinking about a pro career either in the MISL or in the NASL?
Well, if I get a chance, I'm not sure what'll happen, and as long as the team does well, it gives me a better chance at it.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. Good luck. Well, of course, it's halftime in today's game already, so good luck for the rest of the second half, and good luck for Stanford in the rest of the year.
Okay, thank you, Harry.
5:04 out here, 8:04 out there, and the second half is underway. So if you want to check your watches out, we have no clock out here, so unofficially we don't know exactly how much time is left. But all we know is there's approximately 35 minutes to go in this game, and it is scoreless. And controlling the ball is Tegbu of the San Francisco Dons. Tegbu has the ball stripped away by Bill Ray. Modi fouled on the player, a whistle on that same play, and I believe Modi's going to have a foul called against his opponent as he was down, and so we're going to have a push called on a Tegbu, and Connecticut coming back the other way, and they're pretty fired up. This is Eric Meyer coming into the Huskies zone. They're going to play to DeBrigo in the penalty area. DeBrigo trying to get around one San Francisco player, but he can't do so, and making nice play is Eric Visser, but the Huskies are applying some pressure right from the beginning. Lakers in the penalty box could not get the shot off. He tried to get around one defender.
But instead of getting the shot up earlier, he tried to wait, and the ball was kicked out.
And right now, the Huskies getting called for offsides, their fifth in the game, as getting caught behind the area was Jim Renehan on a pass from Charlie McSpirit. And it's raining harder here in San Francisco. Matter of fact, we can see the rain, and all the coaches along the sideline and the players are putting on their jackets. So we're going to see a very wet game, similar to the one we saw up in Boston, Massachusetts, when the Huskies played Boston University. Controlling the ball, San Francisco, and with it is Vidal Larson. Larson passing on the left side to Ategbu. Ategbu right around the midfield line, trying to get away from number 4, John Brubaker. Sends the ball all the way back to Eric Visser, and Visser sends it over to Eric Nielsen, and Nielsen gives it to Cardzayer.
Huskies really playing fire-up ball here. This is about as excited as I've seen them since the Indiana game.
And Cardzayer controlling the ball for the team as he boots it right up midfield. A low liner coming on the left side to Ategbu. Ategbu being badgered there by Brubaker. Sends a pass up front for teammate John Alexander. Alexander make that poor Hog Valstad with the ball on the right side, passing it back to Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum controlling right around the midfield circle. Von Stratum passing the right side in the far corner over to Stan Muslik. Muslik now trying to get around DeBrito, holding the ball, now chipping it in the right side for Hogvalstad. Hogvalstad in the race with it over with Tim Maisley, and coming up with it instead will be Carlos. Carlos sending it back the other way. This is over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito has the ball stolen on the pass, and coming up with his Larson. Larson coming into the penalty area, but knocked away by a Husky all the way to Visser, right around midfield. Visser coming back the other way, sending it on the right side, and coming up with the steal is Tim Maisley. Maisley sends it back to Renehan, and Connecticut will start it up 120 yards away from their own goal.
Huskies have the attacking the side of the field without the long jump pit in it. I don't know how much of a difference that will make, but they don't have to worry about running over a dirt path down one sideline.
Comrie makes a nice move around one San Francisco player, sends a pass into the area for Graziano Cornola, but Cornola can't get near it fast enough as Eric Nielsen comes away with the ball. Nielsen sends it back to the goalie Cardzayer, and he's rolling the ball around, getting ready to start up the play for San Francisco. No score here. Start of the second half. Harold Darak along with Jeff Hood on the Connecticut Daily Campus. You're listening to WHUS, Stores, Connecticut. DeBrito controls the ball. DeBrito getting around one San Francisco player, takes a shot off the chest of Eric Nielsen, controlled by Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit with the ball on the left side. Over for Elvis Comrie. Comrie entering the penalty area, sending a centering pass to Cornell, and he just misses a shot. Coming over to DeBrito. DeBrito sends another centering pass, and kicking the ball out of bounds is Glenn Von Stratum. The pass went over in front of Graziano Cornell. He ran for it. He made a diving slide for the ball, and it just went past him. He missed the shot completely. DeBrito came with it. He centered it, and it was kicked out of bounds nicely by Glenn Von Stratum. But the Huskies will have a corner kick there first of the game, and Pedro DeBrito will take it on the right side.
Cornell O'Neilly had a great, would have been a great goal there.
DeBrito with a centering pass, headed up by Jimmy Lyman over everybody, and make that Billy Maloney as he heads it up over the goal. No save made by Cardzayer, but the Huskies really starting to apply the pressure, and this is the best they've looked since they've played out east, as they're really starting to get the ball right around the goal mouth and making Cardzayer do some moves, and he was totally out of position for that play, and if Graziano Cornello could have been there, the Huskies would have had a 1-0 lead, and now we have a timeout on the field. The referee coming over to talk to, I believe, Nate Lesko and his bench, and I'm not exactly sure why, but they're going to start that play right now. The clock was stopped momentarily, but it's now started. Eric Nielsen getting pushed by Comrie, no call. The ball goes out of bounds, and let's see what they're going to call it, a goal kick. Last touch by Comrie. And still, as Jeff has said throughout the whole game, there are no balls on any side of the field, and there's no ball persons, ball boys or ball girls. And anytime the ball goes out of bounds, the team who is going to be controlling it has to go out and run after and get it. And that takes a lot of time off the clock. Clock doesn't stop for each one of those timeouts. And San Francisco controlling the ball. Per Hogvalstad controlling right around midfield. He is fouled, but there's no call. Pass goes all the way back to Stan Muslik. Muslik sending it into the Husky zone. Rolling for Charlie McSpirit as there's no San Francisco player there. McSpirit kicking the ball around, dribbling it around, trying to send it up to Graziano Cornello, but Cornello can't get to it fast enough. It goes out of bounds on the far sideline, and Muslik will take control of the ball. Muslik gets it into Thierry Blanton. Blanton run off the ball by Bill Maloney, and Bronson kicks it out of bounds as Maloney did steal it, and the Huskies will have a throw-in.
Huskies marking very tightly on defense, double covering the man with the ball, and it has resulted in a few San Francisco turnovers.
Bronson kicks the ball out of bounds one more time as he steals the ball from Connecticut, and another throw-in. This time will be had by, I believe, Carlos, as the rain is still coming down, and we can really see it putting some some wetness on the field, and there should be a lot more slipperiness as this game does progress. Carlos sends it into Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit sending it up the middle, but it's stolen there by Eric Nielsen, and Nielsen brings it back the other way for San Francisco. Nielsen sends it into the Husky zone for Thierry Bronson. Bronson can't get to it fast enough, and Brubaker sends it all the way back to Jim Renehan, and the Huskies will start up their big blue attack from about 100 yards out. This will be Tim Maisley. Maisley sending up for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito in a foot race with Stan Mooslick. DeBrito kicks it off Mooslick's leg, goes out of bounds, and Connecticut will have the throw-in.
UConn going to the longer passes up the sideline. That time Maisley went up the right sideline for DeBrito, who kicked it off the leg of San Francisco player. I don't have the number right here.
DeBrito was pushed down on that play, and we don't have any call. Now Mooslick sending it all the way back to Aram Kardzayer, but DeBrito not too happy with the lack of calls these referees have been making. Only 13 fouls in the first half, but it got a little more physical than that. So this game could get out of control very easily if a lot more fouls aren't called. It's Hegbu almost with a play right down the sideline, but a Husky header by John Brubaker, and they're bringing the ball back the other way. This is Carlos right around midfield, coming down the plays stride by stride with Vidal Larson. Sends a pass up front for Graciano Carollo. Carollo just entering the attacking third, but the ball cleared away by Eric Visser over the touchline. And there'll be another throw-in for about 30 yards out of the Husky, of the USF goal by Elvis Comrie. And Comrie will take the throw in. He gets it into Charlie McSpirit, and Coach Joe Maroney yelling for the offense to start moving. And McSpirit gets around one San Francisco player, a whistle on the play, and we're going to get a push by Thierry Bronson, and Connecticut will have a direct kick.
I kind of wonder why the ref even bothered making the call when Connecticut still had possession, because there was a foul, but you think that the ref would let the players play on when the same team does have control of the ball.
McSpirit, a low liner into the penalty area, knocked away nicely by Eric Nielsen and cleared all the way to the Husky bench. And Connecticut with another throw, and this one taken by Tim Maisley. Maisley on the right sideline looking for Carlos, and he gets the ball by Glenn Von Strongham. Carlos with it in the corner. He's double-teamed by Von Strongham and Ingles. Sends it towards the middle, but it's blasted out by Alberse, and Alberse sends it over again to the Husky bench, and Connecticut again with a throw, and this time again by Tim Maisley. Paul Hunter along the sideline, who is injured. He has shin splints. He's not playing at all in these 3 games, and he throws the ball to teammate Tim Maisley, who throws the ball in, and there's a whistle and a lot of confusion and a push or a shove by a Tegbu, maybe even a tripping call. Connecticut with a direct kick about 40 yards out.
Fans making a lot of noise for only about 150 people, maybe just because they're all right below us trying to get out of the rain.
And Connecticut starting to apply a lot of pressure to Aram Kardzayer, the goalkeeper. McSpirit chipping one in front, looking for Comrie. A header, but blast away by Aram Kardzayer, and a kick in by Carlos. But we have a whistle. Let's see what they're going to call as there's one Husky player down on the ground. I believe it's Billy Maroney. He's the only player I do not see up. It is Billy Maroney. He I believe, collided with Kardzayer. He might have collided with his fist along with the ball.
Kardzayer came running out of the goal, trying to blast the ball out there, but Maroney was in the way, and basically Kardzayer just ran him over.
And he's getting up slowly, and Ralph Mansell, the trainer, is attending to him. But I don't believe there's any foul going to be called, as it was a legal play. Kardzayer had the opportunity to come out and punch the ball away, and they're shaking hands, Maroney and Kardzayer, and he's running it off, so he'll stay in the game as Mansell runs off the field. Kardzayer starting up play with a direct kick, as they're probably going to call a jumping in call with Bill Maroney on that play. And Kardzayer controlling it right in the penalty area. He's getting ready to throw the ball out. Approximately 38 minutes to go here in the game. The score is still 0-0. And Glenn Von Strongham controlling it for San Francisco. Gets it into Eric Myron. Myron kicking the ball upfield where it's stolen by Mooslick. And Mooslick sending it back into the Husky zone. It's Charlie McSpirit with the ball. McSpirit sending it up for Elvis Comrie. Comrie back passing to Bill Maroney. Maroney making a nice play on it, but has the ball stolen from him by Glenn Von Strongham. Von Strongham controlling it momentarily. Getting a pass up to Enrique Ingles. Ingles back passing over for Jan Alberse. And Alberse on the left side for Eric Visser. I do not believe San Francisco is substituted at all this game. The Huskies have been substituting freely. But the Huskies do have the deeper bench. This is Alberse. Alberse sending it up to the middle. And there's no San Francisco player there. And coming up with the ball is Eric Myron. And Connecticut will bring it back the other way. Myron along the sidelines, over to Carlos. He's being badgered there by Bronson. And the ball stolen away there by San Francisco, and controlling it is number 21, Stan Mooslick. Mooslick up the sideline, looking for Bronson again. And Myron's there to break up the play, but a Tegbu comes up and makes a play. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by, I believe, San Francisco. And Connecticut will have control of the ball. 0-0 here. A little bit unlike the game 2 years ago when San Francisco defeated the Huskies 4-3. That game was the seesaw battles. The Huskies had to come back and tie it up before San Francisco won the game outright. Jim Renehan was in the goal. We heard him in halftime. He wants a little bit of revenge against the San Francisco Dons. He has not had to make too many saves. Not really a lot of tough shots being had by either team. Maybe one or two here or there.
So the San Francisco has outshot UConn, at least in the first half. Their goalie Kezar has really had to make the tougher saves.
Right now, controlling the ball, San Francisco on the steal, and coming up with it is number 14, Per Hagvastad. It's stolen by Connecticut, and there's really no control on the ball now. The Brito blasts it out of his zone, right to the head of Eric Visser. Visser gets it back into the Connecticut area, and this is Per Hagvastad. Hagvastad kicks the ball up in the air. Charlie McSpear comes down with it. The Huskies have a 3-on-3 break, sending it up the middle, and kicking away is Alberse. Alberse gets it back to teammate Eric Visser. Visser has the ball stolen, and Connecticut had it momentarily, but Eric Nielsen blasts the ball over the sideline. There will be a throw-in for Connecticut, and this will be Eric Myron. So Connecticut controlling the ball, and they're really applying the pressure to San Francisco, much like the Dons did in the first half to the Huskies. And the Huskies are trying to make their own opportunities as Myron sends the ball into Comrie. It was kicked away by Nielsen, and Nielsen sent it all the way back to the cards there, the goalkeeper, and he is controlling the ball now for San Francisco. Approximately 35 minutes to go here in the first half. Or in the second half of this game, it's a scoreless game. Harold Darak along with Jeff Hood. And Eric Nielsen controlling the ball for San Francisco. Nielsen, who is playing the sweeper back position today from Oslo, Norway. Three of his Norwegian teammates did not come back with him for this semester, those being Roar Anderson, along with Bjorn Tronstad and Joe Bergsvand. And we have a whistle on the play and a push by the Huskies.
Well shot. Getting pushed down that time made it look pretty good.
And another push this time right outside the penalty area by Jimmy Lyman. As Lyman really sent Glenn Von Stratum sprawling. And we're going to have a timeout for an injury as Von Stratum is still not moving along there. But if that was in by a couple of feet, we could have had our first penalty kick of the game, which would have ultimately resulted in the score. But the Huskies getting away with just doing it right outside the penalty area. And Von Stratum coming up very slowly. He is a 5'11", 175-pound midfielder, a junior out of Suriname. And the Huskies setting up a 3 or 4-man wall is Jimmy Lyman, Eric Myron, and Carlos along with Pedro DeBrito.
Well, Stratum that time, he didn't get hit too hard. He stayed down. I think he and a lot of his teammates are getting tired at this point because they haven't had the substitutions that Connecticut has made.
And the Huskies trying to stop this defense. So sending the ball to players. Nielsen right for the goal. Nice save by Renehan as he punches it over the line. And Renehan really making a save in the game as Nielsen was going for the wall in the left corner. And he had to outstretch his arms and send it over the goal line. But a corner kick for USF. But that is a goal-saving dive on that play. And here is the corner kick. This one by Von Stratum, sending it in front for a take movement. It's headed away by Charlie McSpirit. And settled down by number 9, Branson. Shot and goal over the goalpost. And Connecticut will have a goal kick, and they successfully held on defense. And a beautiful play made by Jimmy Renehan. And that could be a bigger play as this game goes on.
Right now, it was a nice play by Jim. He saw the low liner coming, dove to his right.
And right now, Renehan was caught outside the penalty area, and he could not pick up the ball. And Tegbu tried to make the play. He sent it up for Jimmy Lyman. Lyman sent it out of play as he couldn't control it. And San Francisco has it deep in the Husky zone. This is Eric Visser. Visser trying to get it around Carlos. But Carlos knocks it over the goal line, and we're going to have a second corner kick within a minute for the Dons. And taking this one more time will be Glenn Von Stratum, as all San Francisco players are setting up right around the area. Von Stratum passing in for teammate Eric Ingles. Ingles about 20 yards from the goal, back to Von Stratum, but he's going the wrong way. Chips one in front, looking for a Tegbu, headed up in the air by Mason, headed up in the air by Eric Myron, and Myron kicks it all the way out as it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Myron. It's going to be a throw-in for San Francisco. So a couple nice headers by Myron.
Tim Maisley on that header may have saved the goal. San Francisco player was sneaking up from behind, and Maisley jumped up as high as he could and was able to head the ball out of danger.
Mooselik sending the ball to play, looking for Von Stratum. Nice kick away by Bill Morones. He saves that one. And looking for his grass over Cornola. Cornola pushing the player, no call. He had the ball momentarily, but San Francisco regains possession of it. And controlling it is Eric Visser. Visser sending it out in front. Jimmy Renehan coming out. He collides with a Tegbu, and he makes the play. But the whistle is a Tegbu called for a jumping in call. Beautiful play by Renehan, and a Tegbu is still down on the ground. He's holding his head, but I might believe that is an act. because it didn't look like he was hit too hard, and he knew where it was coming from. And now he quickly jumps up and gets back into play. But a nice play by Renehan again, as he did not stay along that goal line. He came out to make the play, and Connecticut has control of the ball.
Jimmy may have seen Tegbu coming, but he sure didn't let him know. Came out very hard, make the save. Tegbu right there. Well, Jimmy didn't really make the save, but he got rid of the ball. And Tegbu stayed down for a while.
A little bit of confusion as a lot of players are slipping and sliding. But coming up with his Glenn Von Stratum on the left side. Von Stratum trying to get around Ryan. Centers one in front, and Renehan makes a save. He almost lost it momentarily, but regained control. And right there to pounce on the ball would have been Vidar Larson. But he does outwit it on the left side. And this is Billy Maloney. Maloney up for Elvis Conley. Conley misses the ball completely. A whistle on the play as Conley was run into. Or maybe it was vice versa. Let's see what the referee's going to call. He's going to call a foul on San Francisco, and Connecticut will have the direct kick. Carlos motioning to get the ball in the play very quickly. Gets it over to Eric Myron. Myron over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit around the midfield circle. Gets the ball to Tim Maisley, who is coming up on an overlap on the right side. Maisley centering the pass. It's knocked away. But before it was knocked away, an offside is called on Elvis Comrie. As Comrie trying to sneak in behind the backfield of San Francisco, but he was caught this time by the linesman. And we're going to have a indirect kick by Aram Cardzair. So approximately
maybe 30 minutes left in this game.
25 to 30 minutes left in regulation time. It's 0-0 here in Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, California. The number one team in the country this year, Connecticut Huskies, versus the number one team in the country 1 year ago, the San Francisco Dons.
Cardzair just put that free kick out of bounds. I think that, along with Jimmy Renehan having a little bit of trouble holding onto the ball, is indicating that it is wet out there.
And taking a spill is Per Hagvalstad, and he is really, I believe, sprained his ankle, and he might have done that on the slippery surface, as it is getting very wet. Hagvalstad with 2 goals and 3 assists for 7 points, and he is hurt, and there's a substitution made in the game, and we'll have to check that as soon as we can. Bill Maloney sending the ball deep into the area. This is for Eric Myron. Myron in the penalty area, settles the ball down, centers in front for Graziano Cornello. Cornello shot on goal, knocked away by Nielsen. It's going to go over the touchline, and Connecticut's going to have it throw-in.
Gratz had a good shot that time, but Nielsen right in the way, about 2 feet, right in the way, 2 feet away from Gratz, and kicked it off his shin. And the throw is going to come into Bill Maloney blasting it in for into the penalty area, looking for the shot, but an offside is called on Pedro De Brito. As again, the Huskies were caught in the trap. And the new man to come into the game is Phil Anton. Anton is a 5'6", 135-pound winger. He's a junior out of Newark, California. So Anton takes the place of Per Christian Hagvalstad, as he is hurt on the sideline with a sprained ankle. And getting the kick out is Cardzair. Cardzair gets it up towards midfield where the Huskies pounce on it again. They have taken control of the second half, but they still haven't been able to put the ball in the net. Now Myron collides with Muslik. The ball goes by both of them, and Pedro De Brito comes with it on the left side. De Brito trying to send it around, gets it off the foot of Muslik. Muslik comes up with the ball, and a pass over to Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum up for Fidelis Tegbu. Tegbu sends it back to a teammate, and it comes up all the way to number 15, Phil Anton. Anton, the left side over to Vidar Larson. Larson answering the penalty. A sliding play by Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit kicks the ball away. Now Eric Byron clears the ball away, and the Huskies hold again on defense, and they're sending the ball back the other way. This is Graziano Cornello leading the break. Looking on the left side for De Brito. It's a race between De Brito and Muslik. Muslik wins the race, kicks the ball over the end line, and the Huskies want to throw it, but we are now seeing some action here. A lot of exciting players for both teams. As it is getting colder, it is raining harder, and the field is getting wetter. And the score is still tied. This is Pedro De Brito sending it into Elvis Comrie. Comrie trying to get around El Dorsey. Still controlling the ball. Now coming up with his Anton. Anton trying to steal the ball. Goes out of bounds, and the Huskies will have a corner kick. UConn really putting the pressure on San Francisco. We have a timeout now by the referee, so the Huskies can go chase after the ball. And in comes Kieran Coffey for Tim Maisley. No, not Tim Maisley. Jim Lyman will be coming out. And the ball was hanging around midfield after that corner kick, well, before the corner kick by UConn, and here's Pedro De Brito.
De Brito making the corner kick, and he sends a lob right in front for Cornello, but a nice save by Cardzair as he comes out, he moves in, shot goes, come on, Cornello! He lost the ball, Cornello put it in the net, and the Huskies have taken the lead 1-0. Cardzair had the save, but he dropped the ball was wet, and Cornello is right there, kicked it with his right foot,
into the lower left side of the net, and the Huskies have a 1-0 lead. We've got about 25 minutes left in the game.
What a play by Graziano Cornolo, and the fans along the sideline are chanting for UConn. Carnsider had the ball, as Jeff Wood has just said, and he lost it. He slipped right out of his hands, and Cornolo just caught it and put it in the lower left corner of the net, and the Huskies have scored the first goal of the game. Unassisted Graziano Cornolo. We do not have the unofficial time, but it's Connecticut 1 and San Francisco 0. Right now, San Francisco takes the kick, and they're going to have to start playing some inspired ball to get back into this. Glenn Von Stratum sends it upfield. Tim Maisley gets the header on it. It's stolen by Elvis Comrie. Comrie gets it over to Carlos. Carlos fighting for it with the San Francisco player, and there's a push called on the Dons, and Carlos will send the ball into play. Let's see if the Huskies can score a couple of goals in bunches. This is Pedro DeBrito along the left side. DeBrito sending a long lob in front. It looks like looking for Billy Maloney. It goes off the hands of Carnsider on the bounds, and I believe we should see a corner kick. Carnsider again coming out to make the play and slip right by him, and this field is getting wet, so we're going to see a lot of slippery action, a lot of sloppy playing. They're not going to call it against Carnsider. They're going to say it was last touch by Maloney.
I think Carnsider did touch that last, but what can you do?
I think that was a poor call by the referee, and instead we're going to see a goal kick, and taking it would be Eric Nielsen. Nielsen sends it back to Carnsider. The Huskies would have been really in good shape if they had a corner kick there. It's getting so slippery. If they could keep the ball in the San Francisco side of the field, they would be in very good shape for the rest of the game. There's about 25 minutes to go in this contest, and the Huskies have a 1-goal lead. San Francisco is going to have to play some catch-up. This is Muslik. Muslik sending it back to Nielsen. Nielsen controlling the ball. He's right on his side of the field, right around the mid-third of the field. And he passed the ball on the right side over to Muslik one more time. Muslik loses it to Eric Myron. Myron sending it up for Pedro DeBrito just a little bit too far. And El Berce gets a foot on it. Sends it right up towards the midfield line where Carlos will take control of the ball. Carlos gets it over to his teammate, Tim Mason. He sends a little one on the ground up for Elvis. And it's stolen there by number 23, Eric Visser. And San Francisco is controlling the ball.
Headphones on, but I believe that's the goal. We're scored at 62-38 or 17-38 into the second half. Now UConn taking over. Pedro DeBrito sending the ball back to goalie Jim Renehan in the penalty box. Renehan picks up the ball, throws out to Bill Maroney on the right wing. He centers the pass.
And Maloney centers the pass looking for Elvis Comrie, but Comrie misheads it, and coming up with it will be number 3, Eric Nielsen. Nielsen sending it all the way back to Aram Carnsider. Carnsider up on the right side over for Stan Muslik. And Muslik kicks the ball back to Nielsen, and they're playing give and go back and forth until they can start up something on the offense. It's still wet and slippery, and it's raining even harder than it was before, but the Huskies have a 1-0 lead on a shot by Graziano Cornolo at 62-38. Connecticut looking for the ball. Eric Nielsen has it. And he passed it along the left side for Eric Visser. Visser coming up, trying to send a pass up in front, and getting a ball is Ingles passing on the right side over for teammate number 11, Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum sending up in the middle for Muslik. Muslik sends the ball in front, headed up in the air by Theodore Blonson. Blonson gets the ball to the right side of it. Blonson can now make a very good shot on a whiff on the play, and we're going to have a pushing call on San Francisco. So the Huskies will have a direct kick, and they'll have a chance to start up the offense and get the ball back into the Don zone.
Don's had a threat going there, but UConn able to get rid of the ball on defense. It's been the story of this year, really. UConn been able to clear the ball when they have to, and they just did it that time.
And they're marking them in just a little bit more closely than they have been in the past, as they did a very good job as men playing very good games today. Tim Maisley, John Brubacher, and Jimmy Lyman, the three backs, along with Charlie McSpirit, who's always Mr. Dependable. Huskies are really playing a very good game on defense. This is Eric Myron entering into the San Francisco zone. He gets the ball knocked away by Vidal Larson and controlled by San Francisco. With the ball right now, Enrique Ingles being hampered there by number 11, Elvis Comrie, and coming up with the ball will be Eric Visser. Visser sending all the way back to Carnsider, and Comrie putting on a little bit of defensive pressure, making the Don team send it back all the way to their goalkeeper. Huskies getting ready to check in Dorsania and Eddie Lynch. And this is where the substitutes are going to be very valuable. If the Huskies can keep substituting freely and tiring out the Dons, the Huskies might have this game won. They lead it 1-0. Eric Visser controlling the ball right around midfield. Right there by Elvis Comrie, sends a long lobber in front looking for a Tegbu, but it's headed away by Billy Maroney. Maroney gets over to Comrie. Comrie slips on the play, regains his position, and he's now fighting for the ball along with a San Francisco player, along with Eric Visser. Visser is pushing him out of bounds. The ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to give it to the Huskies on a throw-in.
I'm surprised they didn't even call a hold on Visser there. He actually had his arm around Comrie's shoulder, trying to hold him back.
And Charlie McSpear gets it in for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito is being played very closely by Eric Visser, and a push call, a holding call on Visser. And the Huskies will have a direct kick right in front of their own bench. And the referee's decisions and the game is going towards the Huskies. They are earning it themselves. They're really hustling here in the second half. They have a 1-0 lead, and they are applying all the pressure to the goalkeeper, Adam Cardsager, who came into this game allowing only .33 goals against. And McSpear sends the ball deep into the mouth of the goal, and Cardsager came out to make the easy save. He outlifted on the right side to Phil Anton, and San Francisco is controlling the ball. Huskies steal back. This is Billy Maroney. Maroney being guarded right on the foot by Fidelis Ategbu. Pass on the right side over to Karen Coffey. A back pass from Pedro DeBrito over to Billy Maroney. The ball is loose in front. It's going to be cleared out in the way by Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum looking for number 93, Bronson gets it to him, and Bronson controlling it right around midfield. Now Bronson leading the attack, passing on the right side, going for his teammate Vidal Larson, but is kicked away by the Huskies' Carlos all the way back into the San Francisco zone, and going there to retrieve it is Eric Visser. Visser with a cross-field pass for Jan Alberse, and Alberse gets it up to teammate Eric Nielsen, and Nielsen will start it up from his own zone. Nielsen, cross-field pass to Eric Visser. Visser entering the Connecticut side of the field, looking to get the ball to another teammate. Almost stolen there by Graciano Cornolo. Goes over to Anton. Anton saves it from going out of bounds, and a Tegbu right on the left side. A Tegbu with a centering pass, cleared away by Charlie McSpirit, and getting in front of is Tim Baisley, sends it over towards midfield, and Connecticut kicks the ball out of bounds, and San Francisco will have a throw-in.
I think San Francisco is having a little bit more trouble with the rain than UConn is. Good estimate, I guess, would be about 25 minutes left in the game.
20 to 25 minutes left in the game right now. The Huskies sending it all the way back to Jimmy Renehan. Huskies are used to playing in the rain. They played a lot of their contests this year in the rain, especially that one up at the Boston University where it was just pouring throughout the beginning of the game, and it finally settled down. So the Huskies are used to play that one even on artificial turf, which is a lot more slippery than grass. So the Huskies probably getting a little more of the better of the footing, as San Francisco players have been down quite a bit here in the second half. This is Eric Visser controlling for San Francisco up to Theory Bronson, and it's stolen by Graciano Cornolo over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito coming up on a 2-on-3 break. DeBrito has the ball stolen from him. A nice sliding tackle by Eric Nielsen. Nielsen kicks it right to the foot of Billy Maroney, but Maroney can't hold it for long as Glenn Von Stratum comes back on it the other way for San Francisco. Von Stratum still controlling the ball, looking to make the steal as Cornolo. Von Stratum entering around the penalty area, and he takes a shot on goal, and he goes over the goal. A left-footed boot. It goes over the crossbar, and a couple of substitutes coming into the game.
We've got Jim Lyman coming in, and Ed Lynch and Jim Dorsanio, placing Graciano Cornolo, Bill Maroney, and Eric Myron for UConn. Bill Maroney, he's not quite 100%. He hasn't had as much running as the other players because of his injuries, and he's been struggling out there the second halves of most of the games he's played in.
And he's been playing very well, though. He's played most of those games that he has been playing, doing a fairly fine job. Alberse controlling the ball, getting it upfield, but it's stolen there by Tim Maisley. Maisley kicking the ball back into the San Francisco zone where Pedro DeBrito comes down with the ball. DeBrito now controlling it. Sliding tackle from the backside by Alberse, but coming up with it now is number 15, Jim Dorsanio. Dorsanio coming almost to the penalty area, but it's stripped again by Alberse, and San Francisco bringing it back the other way. This is Anton. Anton controlling the ball in the corner. It goes over the sideline. A nice sliding tackle by Carlos. Carlos sends the ball all the way to the fence, and there'll be a throw-in for San Francisco on the far sideline right around midfield. This will be Vidal Larson. Larson with a throw-in, sending it back to Eric Nielsen. Nielsen right around the mid-third of the field. Just kicking the ball back and forth. And is now trying to get around Dorsanio as he sends it up to Maisley almost with the steal, but he sends it deep into the Husky zone, and John Brubaker is going to send it all the way back to Jimmy Renehan, and Renehan just gets the ball right before Tegbu comes up to try to put it into the net.
Tegbu took a swipe at Renehan when Jimmy was just picking up the ball, now kind of hassling him. Jim just hanging on, passes now out to Charlie McSpirit.
We do not have a clock. We cannot give you the official time left in the game. All we can say is the Huskies lead at 1-0. There's about 20 minutes, maybe 15 to go in the game, and the Huskies have the ball deep in the San Francisco zone. It's Pedro DeBrito going for the corner. DeBrito just saves him before it goes in the corner. He still has control of the ball, trying to send him the ball in front, but Nielsen kicks the ball away, and Nielsen keeps control, sends it back to the goalie. Cardsager And Kezar outlets it via his arm on the right side of the field. Kezar passing it up for teammate Stan Muslik. Muslik sends a high lobber towards the middle of the field for Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum heads the ball downfield, but Charlie McSpirit clears it back to the San Francisco area, and he's looking for Elvis Comrie. Comrie can't get to it, and Eric Nielsen gets the ball instead. Nielsen back to Kezar. Kezar throwing the ball on the left side for Eric Visser. Visser right in front of the Husky bench sends another lobber into the Husky zone, and going for it is Kieran Coffey along with a San Francisco player. Almost goes out of bounds. Nice save by Thierry Bronson, but coming up with it is Carlos, and he just slides the ball across the field for Jimmy Lyman. Lyman passing the ball on the left side for number 4, John Brubaker. Brubaker saves it before it goes out of bounds and sends up a pass for Jim Dorsani. Dorsani almost getting a ball, but is stolen there by Eric Nielsen, as Nielsen really outraced him to the ball. And there's a whistle on the play and a referee's timeout, and let's see what they're going to call. I believe they're going to say that the goalkeeper touched the ball outside of the penalty area, and the Huskies are going to have some sort of either indirect or direct kick.
That's what it looks like here. UConn setting up the ball about a foot outside the box, so Kezar must have come up with that mistake.
And I'm not sure if it would be a direct kick or an indirect kick. We'll have to see exactly what happens. Right now, Pedro DeBrito's lining up. There's only a one-man wall, so I'm going to have to assume it's an indirect kick. Let's see what DeBrito does. DeBrito chipping in front for Comrie, but it's headed away by Eric Visser. Sent it back by Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito on the left side. DeBrito trying to get around one San Francisco player. Gets to the corner. DeBrito trying to get around Nielsen, but it's kicked out of bounds. Last touch by Nielsen, and the Huskies will pick up the corner kick. And checking into the game, Graziano Coronado. So the Huskies looking to get some offense into the game by putting in Coronado, but they're taking on Elvis Comrie. Comrie wanting a break. And the Huskies dancing up and down the sidelines. It is still raining, and it is very cold out here. I would say about 50 or 55 degrees. Maybe a little colder.
I don't think it's quite that cold. At least it can't be as cold here as it is in the stores.
And right now, DeBrito with the corner kick, sending it up in front for Graciano Cornolo, but it goes over the goal as Kezar had the angle cut off. And right over everything, DeBrito just holding it a little bit too far along the sidelines. And Kezar will have the goal kick with approximately 15 minutes to go here in the contest. Connecticut 1 and San Francisco 0 on a mistake made by the goalie Kezar. He made a save on a play. He dropped the ball, and right there to gobble it up and throw it into the net was Graciano Coronado. That at the unofficial time of 62:38 in the game. And Connecticut, that's exactly where they stand right now. Connecticut 1, San Francisco 0. It's still raining out, and the field is not muddy, but it's very slippery. San Francisco controlling the ball right around the penalty area, their own penalty area, and it's the defensive back Eric Nielsen controlling it. Nielsen sending it over on the left side for Eric Visser. Visser controlling it, and he's being guarded there by Jim Dorsani. Sending it back, it almost goes over the goal line as Visser almost made a mistake, but Kezar making a nice save, or the Huskies are going to have a corner kick. Kezar now rolling the ball out. Now he's going to give it a mighty boot, and he gets it all the way towards midfield, and the rain is coming down harder than ever. This is Tegbu looking to make the play. He shielded John Brubaker, and he kept control of the ball. So Tegbu passing in the middle to Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum left side over to Thierry Bronson, almost broken up by Lynch, and now broken up by Charlie McSpirit, but Bronson was in the penalty area. And a good play by both Maisley and McSpirit, as McSpirit kept his cool, the captain from Verona, New Jersey, playing himself a fine game as well as the UConn defense. And the Huskies take the ball back the other way. This is Jimmy Lyman. Left side over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito controlling it, almost being stolen by Vidal Larson, but he gets it back to Eddie Lynch. Lynch over to Timmy Maisley. Maisley making a nice fancy move around Anton and sending it upfield for Eddie Lynch again. This is Maisley. Pass going a little bit too far past Lynch. It'll be a throw for San Francisco on the far sideline. Anton gets the throw in. Anton going around DeBrito, passing it back, and it goes in towards the middle to Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum trying to get into a Tegbu, but it's stolen there by Brubaker. Brubaker is still on the play, and there's no whistle. Play uncalled by the referee, and Connecticut controlling the ball. This is Jim Dorsani. Dorsani on the right side, trying to send it up front for Graciano Cornolo. Nice steal by Vidal Larson, but it's stolen back by Dorsani. Now the ball is loose. A whistle on the play. A push or some sort of it. Hit motion by the referee, calling a foul on San Francisco and Connecticut, sending it right back into play. Right now, this is Jimmy Lyman on the left side to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito trying to get around Muslik, slowing the ball down, now throwing it back, and he gets it back over for teammate Carlos. The Huskies within about 15 minutes from winning their 9th straight game. This one probably their biggest of the season, a road game versus San Francisco. The ball goes all the way into the penalty area, but can't be controlled by Nielsen. He kicks it out of bounds. That was a good play set up there by Kieran Coffey to apply some pressure to Nielsen. It goes over the touchline. The Huskies want to throw it, and it is now pouring here at Kezar Stadium in San Francisco. This is Pedro DeBrito sending it back to Coffey. A centering pass right in front, looking for outside. Oh, good play by Cardside as he came out of the net to make the play. And a good save, and the Huskies cannot get on the board this time. They still lead it 1-0.
Dorsano was right there, going up to the header. The Cards there was a nice save. Came out, took the ball right off the top of Dorsano's head. And now San Francisco has the ball.
San Francisco with the ball, but they send it over the touchline, and it's going to be Connecticut's ball as they're going to take their time to bring it in on the throw-in. We do not know the official time left in this game. We do know the Huskies lead at 1-0. Getting set to run to be in Bill Moy and Eric Myron, who are shivering along the sidelines. There's approximately 15 minutes to go. This is Jimmy Lyman controlling the ball. Lyman is a cross-field pass over for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito trying to get in the Graciano Cornola, but he overshoots him. And coming up here will be Eric Nielsen. Nielsen sending it back to Cardsire. And Cardsire just rolled the ball along the ground. And he passed over to Muslik. Muslik having some pressure applied to him by Jim Dorsano. Give and go from Nielsen back to Muslik. But Nielsen's pass was a little bit behind him, and Muslik had to run back to get it. Muslik now passing the ball to Nielsen along the ground. Nielsen sending a ball, 2 bounces up to Thierry Bronson. Bronson passing the right side. He's looking for a teammate, but it's headed there by Kieran Coffey. And Coffey sends it back to Dorsano. Dorsano and the Huskies get the ball into play. This is Graciano Cornola lobbing one in front. Nielsen gets a head on it. But there's going to be 2 Huskies here to gobble up. This is Jimmy Lyman on the right side. Entering the penalty area. Kicks it off the side of John Alberse. It goes over the goal line, and the Huskies will have a corner kick, and they'll make their substitutions.
San Francisco getting really tired now. They're not substituting at all today, except for the one injury. And entering the game is Eric Myron.
And Eric Myron and Bill Maloney along for Eddie Lynch and Kieran Coffey. And we have not seen Per Hogvalstad since his injury about 15 minutes ago. The Huskies with the corner kick. Carlos over to DeBrito. DeBrito now sending a lobber in front. He's looking for Jim Dorsano or Bill Maloney. Heading in front. Cornell! And it just goes wide to the right. Cornell almost had the opportunity to put the second goal in the game for the Huskies, but it just went wide to the right. And there's going to be a goal kick for San Francisco. But the Huskies are really applying the pressure here late in the game with a 1-goal lead.
I thought Cornell almost had that one. It was a nice header by him. Good centering pass by Maroney, I believe it was. But it came up short.
And the Huskies kicked the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Tim Maisley. This one will be Stan Muslik throwing. Or maybe they're going to call Maisley for a push, and they're going to be a direct kick. And Muslik's going to take it right inside the Huskies' zone, right next to midfield. And Muslik getting set to do something on the offense. San Francisco really not mustering much offense here in the second half at all. This is Nielsen in midfield. Nielsen passing right side for Anton. Anton sending it deep in for Muslik, and Muslik's going to put a centering pass. Saved by Renehan. He had it, knocked it down. Tegman was there to make the play, but Renehan regained it. Possession of the ball. Another good play by the goalie. Now it's knocked away by Anton, and then kicked to the goal by Anton. But Renehan says he was knocked out of his hand, and they're going to call. Let's see what they're going to call. Anton's cheering up and down, but that was definitely knocked out of Renehan's hand. Let's see what they're going to call.
I don't think they're going to call a goal. I'm not really sure. The hands haven't gone up by the ref yet. I think they're going to give. There's a timeout now.
And they're going to talk to the linesman, but if this is called a goal, we're going to see one mad Coach Joe Maloney, as there was obviously a flagrant smash out of Renehan's hand. Let's see what they're going to say. This is very interesting, because when we see the view, it was definitely obvious that the San Francisco player, Phil Anton, knocked the ball out of Renehan's hand and kicked it into the goal.
Renehan and McSpirit standing in the goalie's box.
And they're getting ready to kick a goal kick, but let's see what we're going to have.
I don't think they're going to allow it. No goal.
They shouldn't allow it. Matter of fact, they should give a yellow card. I'm not giving a yellow card.
That's Phil Anton.
Phil Anton with the yellow card. Boy, he deserves that one. That's very good conduct for the San Francisco Don player.
They're frustrated. They're really frustrated, Harold. It's wet and they're tired. They haven't had the substitutions that UConn has had, and I don't think they're quite as well conditioned as the Huskies are.
And the Huskies send the ball all the way down deep in the San Francisco area. Graciano Cornola looking to pick up the ball. Cardsire gets it all the way back there as the goalie, and he outlets it on the left side for Glenn Von Stratum. Von Stratum controlling the ball. trying to get it around Carlos. He kicks one up for a Tegbu, but Charlie McSpirit with a nice bicycle kick sends it back into the San Francisco zone. This is Pedro DeBrito on the left side for Billy Maloney. Maloney now rolling the ball along the ground. He lobs it in towards the middle for Cornolo, but it's headed away by Nielsen. Cornolo was almost open back there. Nielsen comes up with it, and he kicks along the left sideline. I believe it could go out of bounds unless the Tegbu gets there first, and the Tegbu does. The Tegbu gets around Brubacher, but he kicks it right out of bounds, and there'll be a throw-in for Connecticut right in front of the San Francisco bench. This is Charlie McSpirit right for Carlos, but it's kicked right back to McSpirit, and McSpirit gives it back to Carlos. Dribbling down the right sideline, sending a centering pass in front. No Huskies there to get it, but Jimmy Lyman gets the ball on the throw from Visser, takes a weak shot towards the goalie, and Kezar makes the easy save. Approximately 5 or 10 minutes to go in this contest. As a matter of fact, it might be closer to 5 minutes, as we've been playing here for quite some time. And the Huskies have the 1-goal lead on Graciano Cornolo's goal on the mistake made by Aaron Kezar. That could be the biggest goal of the season for Graciano Cornolo. If the Huskies can win this one, this could be the biggest game in the history of the Huskies. They have never beaten the San Francisco Dons.
Players were saying before the game, Harold, that this game was the biggest one of the year, and you've got to see why. San Francisco defending national champions.
And right now there's a play on the right sideline. San Francisco's making a break. Right in front, Charlie McSpirit makes the play as San Francisco calling for the handball, but there's a tangle in the corner between Bill Maloney and the San Francisco offender, and he got the ball around Maloney and kicked it towards the middle, but right there to make the play was Charlie McSpirit. The Huskies cannot afford to let down in a mental lapse, even though they have a 1-goal lead. This is Glenn Von Stratum, and San Francisco looking to take control of the game. He's centering up with a nice lob, but again, McSpirit coming up to make the play. McSpirit sends it upfield. It's headed there by Brubacher and Von Stratum. The ball is now being loosed on the ground, and Alberse comes and picks it up and sends it back into his own zone for teammate Eric Nielsen. Nielsen coming across the midfield line, coming into the Connecticut side of the field. Nielsen with a long lobber, looking for a teammate. 2 Huskies are there to make the play. Bill Maloney got ahead on it. Last touch by Bill Maloney as he goes over the sideline, and Musik's going to have a throw-in. The field is wet. The players are wet. The fans are wet. And it's still raining very heavily. This is Phil Anton right around the penalty area. The ball is kicked out of bounds. Last touch by Maloney. And it's going to be a corner kick for Vidal Larson as Elvis Comrie gets set to check into the game. Comrie coming in. Graciano Cornolo make that Jim D'Arsanio coming out. The Huskies almost in there with their starting lineup. Matter of fact, I believe it is their starting lineup. And going to make the corner kick is Vidal Larson. San Francisco has probably one of their best offensive opportunities in the second half. Here's the corner kick, headed up by a Tegbu, but it's headed the wrong way. Glenn Von Stratum gets the ball settled down, kicks it over to Alberse. Alberse shot and goal. It scores! It's kicked off the net. It's kicked in by Yarva Alberse, and the game is tied at 1.
Jim Renehan got screened on that last play. He went to his right. The screen in front, but the ball was kicked to his left, and he didn't even see it at all until it was too late. And we got a 1-1 tie, and I don't think there's much more than 5 minutes left.
An incredible turn of events for the Huskies. They had the game if they could have just kept going. A corner kick by San Francisco set that play up as a pass came over from Alberse from, I believe, teammate Musik. I'm not exactly sure. We don't have the official score or the official goal, but that ball is put in the net. This game is tied at 1. And there's less than 5 minutes to go in the game. The Huskies take the kickoff, and they're trying to apply some pressure. Ball sent all the way to the San Francisco zone, where it's knocked out of bounds, and San Francisco will have a throw-in. Ball goes all the way back to Aaron Kezar. Kezar controls it. He rolls along the side for Eric Nielsen. Nielsen now controlling it for San Francisco, and the momentum shifts the other way. Nielsen sending it to the Husky zone. It goes over everybody. It's Tim Mason is looking for the header. Tegbu now looking for the ball along with number 4, John Brubacher. Tegbu makes the play, but Huskies come away with the ball as Renehan sends it up towards the midfield. Steal by Von Stratum. Von Stratum pass over the place, and he takes a shot, kicked off a Husky, and it almost goes out of bounds with a beautiful save made by John Brubacher, and the Huskies take control of the ball. Brubacher sends it upfield, where Musik takes control of the ball. Musik along the right sideline for Anton. Anton now slowing the ball up, looking to get the ball to the penalty area. Coming out to make the play is Brubacher, but he passed on the right side to Musik. Musik centering pass blasted away by McSpirit, and now San Francisco putting on a lot of the pressure. And so we'll see what's going to happen. I believe we're going to have a throw-in on the far sideline. And San Francisco's going to take it. We have less than 5 minutes to go in this game, and it is tied at 1 apiece.
They just made an announcement here. I couldn't hear quite what was going on. The fans were yelling. And it's really, and what will happen is that I believe Jim Renehan will come out of the goal, and Jim Lyman will put on Renehan's shirt, so the Huskies can have 11 attacking players.
And it's very sad for the Huskies who played so well here in the second half to just lose it like that in a matter of minutes. The Huskies trying to keep themselves settled down. We do not know how much time is left, and that's a very tough thing to say because this game is going to be a matter of time. Renehan's now running off the field.
You got 6 minutes to play now.
6 minutes to play as we're listening for the official score lesson. I believe there has to be more than 100 fans down there yelling because we can hear them. They're screaming. 6 minutes to play. The Huskies are down by 1. And it's too bad because they were playing so well there for a minute. All they had to do was hold on. They had a 1-goal lead. But they're now down 2-1, and Connecticut has the kickoff. This is Carlos right across midfield, trying to start stepping up for the Huskies. And this pass over to Eric Meyer. Meyer along the right side to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito sending it back for Kieran Coffey. Coffey sends it into Carlos, and Carlos has the ball taken from behind by Van Stratum. Van Stratum moves it to Carlos, sending pass for Billy Mooney. Mooney on the foot, trying to get over to teammate. This is Charlie McSpirit. Shot on goal line to the right. And it goes over the goal line. And it'll be a goal kick for San Francisco. But the Huskies are starting to apply some more pressure. They have less than 6 minutes to go in the contest. And we'll try to keep you informed as much as possible. Taking the goal kick will be Aaron Kezar.
Reminder now, Jim Lyman is the goalie for UConn. He's up about the 40-yard line, which is about 45 yards away from the UConn goal. And he's got to drift back as the ball gets closer to UConn's goal.
And right now, John Brubaker has control of the ball, but he's in his side of the play. And he gets over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit sending it into the USF zone where it shoots in front. Bill Maloney has a chance to make it a play. He gets the ball. Pass to the right side of DeBrito. DeBrito in the penalty area. Shot is kicked off the foot of Eric Visser, but the Huskies will have a corner kick. Corner kick for the Huskies. Now they have a few ball boys out in the last few minutes of play, so we won't have to stop the clock. And DeBrito will take this corner kick. The Huskies have an opportunity to put the ball into the net. DeBrito starting to set up. The Huskies getting all their people back. Here's a lobber in front. Looking for it is going to be Cornell, but it's headed away by the San Francisco defense and kept in play by Maisley. Maisley over to Eric Meyer. Meyer never shoots the ball. Saves it for Conley shot. And he's just wide to right, but I believe they were saying the ball went over the goal. Beforehand, I believe they were saying Meyer did not save it in time. And it's going to be a goal kick for San Francisco.
Great effort on the part of Meyer there. Eric came down on the left side, tried to get out one defender, was lying on the ground with the ball, must have just rolled over the end line, and we have a goal kick for San Francisco with about 4.5 minutes to play.
And right now, Aaron Kezar is going to be taking the goal kick. He's going to blast it upfield, and it's put off the stomach of number 18, Enrique Ingles. Ingles passed over the teammate is going to send all down the field, and there's going to be a chance for opportunity for a score. And coming up with the shot is Phil Anton. It goes over the goal line. Remember, Jimmy Lyman has donned the shirt of the player of the goalkeeper. Right now, they're quickly getting the corner kick. Anton takes a shot towards the middle, and it's going to be cleared away by Connecticut. Not cleared far enough. It's coming up with Van Stratum. Van Stratum having a chance to score, but it's cleared away by Tim Maisley. Maisley with the steal sends it over to Myron. Myron sending it upfield for DeBrito. And DeBrito fighting along with it with Eric Visser. Ball loose in front. Anton had a chance to set up, but it's knocked away nicely by Eric Byron, but knocked right to the foot of Vidar Larson. Larson sending it to the right side of the field for a teammate, but Charlie McSpirit. And the foot was there with number 21, Stan Muslik. And Muslik wins the ball. Muslik passing over to Theory Branson. Branson back to Muslik. And all they got to do is kill the clock for 4 minutes, and San Francisco will come away with an upset victory. Right now, this is Kieran Coffey. Coffey kicks it off the foot of Vidar Larson. And Connecticut will have a goal kick. The clock is running down. The time is against the Huskies. They're down by 1 goal, 2-1. They led it 1-0 for most of the second half, but like lightning, San Francisco came back with 2 goals by Jean Alberse and Fidelis Ategbu. And Ategbu is the winning goal, and the Huskies really were not playing very good defense. They looked like they were a little messed up right around the goal, and Ategbu put the ball in the net. This is San Francisco controlling the ball. With it, Vidar Larson has the ball stolen by Carlos. He knocks it out of bounds, and they're just taking their time going after the ball. As the clock is running down, 2 minutes left. Carlos coming out now to get the ball, and he has to get it out of the bushes, which are on the other side of the field. And Carlos now going to hand it to the other team.
The ref should really call a timeout here because it's so obvious that San Francisco is spending too much time getting the ball in play.
Vidal Larson controlling it. He's right along with Charlie McSpirit. Larson trying to send the ball into the middle of the field, but coming away with the steals. McSpirit is the foot race with the ball between Bill Maloney and Alberse. Alberse wins race, kicks it all the way down to Cardsire, and Cardsire outlets it quickly to San Francisco, and the offense of the Dons is going to start up very soon. This is Cardsire coming all the way back, and the Brito right on him, foot for foot, and Cardsire is going to roll it out and try to get the ball out and away, and he sends it over towards midfield. It's headed down by Kieran Coffey. Coffey makes the steal, and he's hampered there by number 11, Von Stronum, and it's thrown there by Tegbu coming down the field, passing on the left side for teammate Phil Anton. Kieran Coffey going after a nice sliding tackle, makes the save, but Eric Visser blasts it deep down the field. It goes out of bounds, and we're going to have, I believe, a referee's timeout as they go to get the ball. Going to make the throw-in will be number 19, Kieran Coffey. We're within 2 minutes of this game. The Huskies are down by 1 goal, 2-1, and Coffey sends it upfield for Carlos with the header over to Elvis Comer for the Brito, but the Brito can't get it. It's set to Eric Myron. Myron out in front, looking for a Graciano Cornell, knocked away by Nielsen, and it's passed back over to Cardsire, the goalkeeper, and Cardsire outs on the right side. This game is dwindling down to the precious few moments. This is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit loses the ball. Coming up with it is Vidal Larson. Larson with a cross-field pass, and coming up with it is number 23, Eric Visser. Visser makes a nice Academy Award nomination type play as he was filled by the play by Elvis Comrie, and there was a timeout called on the field, and maybe he really is hurt, but he did take an extra dive on that one. And the clock is stopped, much to the happiness of the Huskies. But Connecticut is in trouble. We're within a few minutes of this game, and they are down 2-1. The Huskies were very comfortably in foot, 1-0 on a shot by Graziano Cornell. Went to the nets off a stunned Aaron Cardsire, as Cardsire had the save and it slipped out of his hands, and Cornell put in the goal. But after that, San Francisco came up with 2 quick goals within the span of about 2 or 3 minutes. Jan Alberse tied it up, and then Fidelis Tegbu put the winning goal in the net, and the Huskies are down 2-1, and we're in a minute. Centering pass up front, Tegbu with a shot, but a save by Lyman, and Lyman's going to quickly try to outward the ball as he boots it over the field for our teammate Graciano Cornell. Cornell sends it back to Eric Myron. Myron deep downfield for Bill Maloney. That's headed up front by Alberse, and Alberse sends it out of bounds, and Myron will have the throw. Within a minute left in this game, this is all unofficial. McSpirit comes up with it. Pass stolen by Thierry Bronson. Bronson sends it downfield out of bounds, and Carlos will have the throw, and he throws it into Jimmy Lyman, who's playing goalie for the Connecticut Huskies. Lyman sending it deep down the field, headed away by a San Francisco player. This is Alberse, controlled by Myron. Myron in for Bill Maloney, sliding tackle, the ball goes away, and Bronson comes up with it for San Francisco. Bronson sends it downfield, it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Carlos, and it'll be a throw-in for Tegbu, and that's the game as the horn goes off. And upset in the making, the number 12 team in the country, the San Francisco Dons, upset the Connecticut Huskies by a score of 2-1. In a game that the Huskies had controlled 1-0 throughout most of the second half. So, unfortunately for the Huskies, they came all the way out to the West Coast. They made a very good showing. They had the lead throughout most of the game, but they had a mental letdown 2 times as the ball was put in the net twice by Jim Renehan, and San Francisco comes away with the victory. So we will be back to wrap up this game. The final score from Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, California. The Dons of San Francisco 2, the Connecticut Huskies 1. We'll be back right after this.